Hey everybody, good morning, and here, welcome back to Reaper Pro Tips with me, your host Anne, Disembodied Hands Quindy, Justin and John, and a very large, as you can see, look at how big her head is, a very large and Nami puppy this morning. Kiki, look up, look up, look up, no, you gotta look up, oh no. Off. Good girl. Arrow is with the 36 months. My dog is going to jump on me again for this. Happy sub-anniversary. Happy triple sub-anniversary. Triple sub-anniversary. Happy triple sub-anniversary. Actually, no, she just looked at me and left the room. Hi, everybody. How are y'all? My screen's a little weird. Everything's a little wonky post-relatives visit. So I'll try to, be reset at some point. But, yeah. Kiki the shark puppy. Yeah. Oh, no. No. You want to say hi to all the peoples? Do you want to say hi to all the peoples but not nom on mom? You can come up. No, nomin. Good girl. Yeah, say hi to all the peoples. Good girl. Yeah, there we go. Good girl. No nibbles. Okay. Yes, we're all a little wonky post-relative visit. Yes, exactly. Oh. But there you go. You guys got your Kiki dose. She is exactly 6 months today. Exactly. 6 months ago, a tiny little Kiki bean was born. We all call them Shiloh beans because they look like beans when they're babies. They're shaped like beans. Are you going to come and chew something? Something you're supposed to chew? She got a new toy for Christmas. That was a wobbly toy. I almost forgot to give it to her. I gave it to her like the day after Christmas. And it's got a rubbery bottom, or plasticky rubbery bottom, and then the top is a penguin. And she has already chewed both fins off, and I'm sure the pom-pom is not long for this world, so I'm actually going to cut it off before she chews the top open. But it wobbles, right? So when she paws it, it wobbles. And she would not leave it alone for an entire day. It was like totally the best favorite toy. Oh, my lordy. Good and quiet, I wish. Yeah, well, compared to our usual life, it wasn't quiet, right? Like, our usual life is very, very quiet. So it was good for Kiki because she got a lot of, more people in the house, 2 other people living in the house, right? She did a lot of jumping up, so that the totally non-dog savvy grandparents or parents, I suppose, had to deal with, grandparents of Kiki. Had to deal with the jumpy puppy, but she actually was better than I thought she'd be. Yeah? She brought her bully stick in. Good girl. And she's getting better in general. She actually did not need to be confined to her pen, except when we had our prime rib on Christmas Eve night. That was definitely a Kiki in the pen moment. And then, just when opening Christmas presents because there was no way. She was going to want to rampage through all the presents because Kiki, right? So she had to do that. But otherwise, Keeks was free for the majority of the time that the parents were here, and she did well. Like in the evenings, when it comes to afternoon, she calms down a lot. Like morning, she's frenzy puppy still, as you can tell. But afternoon, she calms down a lot. In the evening, she's like perfect dog. So it's really just the vestiges of the puppy high energy thing. And I think as she gets older, she's going to have more time being a good girl. And she's still a little bit higher energy than the normal Shiloh puppy, but yes. So Kiki did well, and now she's 6 months old. Oh, good, green users, yeah. I didn't hear from as many people, but we had people more in our face. And my parents, just like last year, my parents and my brother went off to Puerto Vallarta without us this time. Because I'd already taken a bunch of days off. And it was the mom catch-up visit. Because last year, mom was supposed to go with us. And she got sick. So she didn't want to go, obviously, because she didn't want to leave the country and maybe not be allowed back in. It turned out not to be anything related to COVID, but it was still you had to get a COVID test clear to get allowed back into the USA last year. So this year, she's feeling good, and so they are going. So hopefully they have a good time without us, unfortunately. Yeah. Wow, See, this is, oh, I'm on monochrome. Hold on. There we go. Much better. I accidentally hit the filter button, which has some crazy filters, by the way, and it totally monochromed me. But yes, it's a happy 6 months Kiki today. Kiki and her littermates. Sadly, the other littermates people are not good at taking photos. Like, I'm probably the best photoer. So the world will see a lot of Kiki and not as much of her sibs. Although, let's see. I think I showed you guys. Did I show you guys the family picture that Bridget put up? Hold on. I'll show you the picture, just in case I didn't. Oh. It's almost time to monitor. So Lance is getting his Holter monitor. This is the heart monitor we do. Oh, he's so cute. He's got the floppy ears, but look at all that fluff. He's one of the solid black puppies. He was one of the really chill one. Ah, you've tried them all. Good, Kellabone, good. Yeah, and those should all mix together really well. Those brands, by the way. Hold on and let me. What's that? That was Lance, I think. Yeah, that was Lance, and then there's Bucky. Bucky got a bath for Christmas, sadly. And then, hold on, let me get the family photo. There we go. Suki is the new name of Pike, who was the other girl that I had the option to take, the black girl. And this is the family photo that Bridget took when Pike, when she visited her, when Suki visited her. So Suki's the black one. And her ears have been up and down, so they may go up again. Those are how her dad's ears ended up, so we'll see. So this is Grandma Nova, and this is Mama Zammy, and this is Uncle Kobuk. And then there's Suka. So she's already as big as Grandma Nova. As Nova is a very small dog, relatively speaking, for a Shiloh. But yeah, so it is a cute family photo I had to share, and Zam is so attentive. So yeah, it's a cute one, so... Yes, had to share that. And then I think the only cute Kiki photo I got was... Hold on. There is actually a cute Kiki photo. Today is really dark and stormy and rainy. I was going to take a nice photo of her today for her 6 months, and maybe it'll clear up later. But I've got a couple of fun ones, actually. So this is Kiki with her penguin. You can see that she actually has it in her mouth. And she's like, don't take it away, Mom, please. Don't take it away, Mom. So the face. That was a good face. And then... Oh, I suppose I could share. Hold on, guys. Hold on. So here we are. Kiki gets her sock. Kiki gets her stocking for Christmas. It's Kiki's first Christmas. And she had to figure out. There's toys in it. She had to figure it out. Oh, she's thinking about it.
Oh, there's the toe. There's the toe paw.
She's getting it. She almost dumped it out. There's a toy in the top. That's a little reindeer. So there we go. That was Kiki's first Christmas, everybody. Kiki's first Christmas. And I just had one. I think I had one other fun one, which was before Christmas, but she was completely cashed out on top of her giant worm from Halloween. She's just like totally asleep because she played herself out. So I thought that was a cute one too. So yeah, there you go. Those are all my recent Kiki photos. And yeah. There we go. So there we go. Yeah, she loved it. I had to take it away because when she chewed the fin off, she split the seam and there's stuffing in there. So I'm gonna have to sew it shut. I have to do a lot of triage these days. I on Kiki Toys. So yeah, Kiki's first Christmas. I actually stuffed the stocking also had a pig ear, a bully stick, a ball, a new ball, and then another small toy, and there's something else. A bag of treats. Catnip put my other cat to sleep. Like Panther, Mama San's son, he would just like get stoned on it and he'd just fall asleep. But yeah, so Keekster did good. She had a good Christmas. All right, let's do the other wing. I need to finish these wings, folks. Yeah, I was just starting to get some of the highlighting done on this wing. And let's just do it all at once. So let's just darken down. Let's do our mix on the wings there. Let's get our colors mixed up. I need to grab my russet brown, that is not the correct color, my shield brown, and my tan skin and rosy shadow, which are the two colors we're mixing to get the skin tone, and which also are mixed to make the highlights on the wing, the brown parts of the wings. But yeah, otherwise, I got a new Fitbit. David got me a new Fitbit. It's shiny. Look at this shiny. Hold on, let me see the shiny. Shiny, shiny. Wake up. There it is. Shiny. So shiny. Yeah. I'm actually excited because it has all sorts of special features my old one did not. Oh, good, Kelleblum. Yeah, it's I put that out there because I really just felt like because MSP has a thinner consistency than other paints, it helps if you just have a general guide, right? Like different colors will have slightly different thicknesses depending on the base and the age, but in general, it at least gives you a baseline to work with MSP, and so that's why I did that video just for free out on the web forever, because I wanted people to have a good experience, and like whenever I can remove a barrier of frustration in the hobby, I do so, because the more people it gets in then. But yeah, I'm glad it worked for you. Fantastic. Yeah, and if you mix MSP with Vallejo, by the way, you'll get like something that'll thin a little faster. You also will increase the adhesion of the Vallejo, so it won't rub off as easily, because MSP has a high adhesion, especially compared to other hobby paints. All right, so let's mix up our shadow color, also called our base coat color, which is going to be 4 drops of the russet brown, 1 of the shield brown, and 1 of brown liner. You mix all the paints, yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, but that's what MSP brings to the party versus Vallejo, I feel, is it definitely has higher adhesion and it's got easier thinability. Vallejo has the coverage, so because it uses a base that's higher in a vinyl equivalent. It's not real vinyl, but it's an equivalent resin, which is essentially a thicker resin, a bigger bodied resin. And so that's why it covers better. It gives their colors just a little bit more of a boost, but it's a very fragile resin. It's soft. That's the downside. You either get soft and malleable, or you get hard and brittle. And then the latex, again, like most paints aren't actually latex, they're a polymer that approximates it because allergies. But the latex is right in the middle, so you get something in between. So if you mix Vallejo and Master Series, you'll actually get something that's a lot like a latex-based paint. Oh yeah, makes sense. If you need a very thick body, yeah, heavy body paint. Makes sense. Well, good. Excelente. Glad you are having a good experience, and I'm glad that you figured out a way to shoehorn Reaper into your painting process. It makes me happy. Hey, the more people that are painting in different styles and utilizing Reaper, the better. Because we don't, that just makes it more accessible, because then a lot of those people eventually, they'll start to teach, right? Or you may just answer questions for a friend of yours or whatever, but it gets our paint out there to be used in different ways. Because the way that I use it, that's the original way that, I kind of formulated it to be used, but there are people who use it all sorts of different ways, and that's how it should be. Like, it shouldn't just be a one painting style kind of paint. There are lots of ways to integrate it. And the way I use it now isn't the way that I used it back in the day. All right, 4 drops of shield, and then I need to mix up our skin color and put a little bit of that into our mid-tone. Hey, Gergie, long time no see. Yeah, I have a bunch of the scale color. I have not painted, guys, for ages, it feels like, because of all the family prep and then the actual family and holidays. I really want to get back to painting. David got me the new Big Child bust, the lady that's all in white with the bird. That was my Christmas present. And then I had to give him crap because this is what my father used to do. Is he would buy himself something that he wanted, and then he would put it under the tree and label it from the dog, from the cat. And my mother would just lose it. She hated it when he did that. She didn't know why I wouldn't just make a list. So this year, there was a present to David from Santa, and he bought himself the same bust he bought me because he really wanted one. Yeah, it's even more beautiful actually out of the box. I actually had passed on it, Quindy, because I was like, I kind of looked at it and the box art was really pretty, but I was like, I don't know what the sculpt's going to be like. But then David, of course, whipped his out and was right away playing with it on Christmas when I was cooking. And it is actually a gorgeous sculpt. Like, I'm thinking of going way off theme with it, actually. I need to look at the detailing a little bit more, but I'm actually thinking of going Ranger. Like, doing her like a ranger. Like, she's a little bit froofy for a ranger, but I think I can make it work. Because she's got the bird, and she's got the wing patterns. And so I've got to look at her stuff. Like, she's definitely got cloth, but I bet I can paint some of that stuff like it's leather. And I'm thinking I'm going to go ranger. I think that would be awesome. And nobody else is probably going to do it, unless all of you spread the word, of course. Hello, Internet, and all the rest of you now know. Hey, New Code, thank you for the resub, 37 months. Happy triple sub anniversary and a month. To go from you-know-who. That's funny. So, yes. So that is... that's what David pulled, and that's what I'm thinking about for that model. But I want to finish Anubis first, because that was the last. Anubis was the last model that David gave me, and so I really, really want to finish him before I start the next David model. For some reason, I'm just really motivated to like paint the stuff when David buys me a present. I'm really motivated to paint it because it's a present from my love. So I get all motivated. But yeah, so here's our colors. Let's back up a little bit here. So here we are. So I'm gonna mix up my skin color. It essentially gives me a rosyish tone that's just not as pink, and then I'm gonna put a brush full of this into our shield brown. And usually I do kind of a reverse mix as well. Take a little bit of this and mix it in. Kind of get it with colors of both in it. And that's kind of where our triad sits right now. Oh yeah, all in red and the bird is a phoenix. Yeah, David was thinking about doing his in dark and the bird is a phoenix. So I won't tell him that Luca already did phoenix. I mean, it's pretty obvious. It's a pretty obvious play, right? Because the bird really has that long foofy tail that looks like it could be very phoenixy. So I'm the person who tends to like, if somebody else does the bust in a style that I like, I'm less likely to paint it. Like, I'm less likely to do that. I'm more likely to try to find a different idea. David, I don't think he cares. All right, I'm gonna use my Winsor Newton today. This is an old brush. I need to put it away here so I don't reach for it all the time. What else do I have over here? Where's my Reaper? There's my Reaper. Let's do base coating with the Reaper. Hey, Warshadow. Long time no see, too. There's a lot of old names I haven't seen in the chat for a while. But yeah, I think other people are unlikely to go with my idea for her, so I'm happy to maybe do that. We'll see. But I was trying to think of unconventional. What was the PBS thing? I missed it. I missed Twisted Oma's documentary, but it's on an artist, I assume. I will go up and look. Go up and look, go up and look. Ah, except that I got, like, I lost my little scroll bar. There it is. There it is, scroll bar. Probably was right when it was, oh yeah, there we go. Yep. Yep, walnut, oil, and pigments, yep. Neat. Really great documentary. I'll have to look that up because that sounds like fun. Oh, and I need to mix up some brown liner too for shading. All right, so we're just going to base coat the back of this brush in our dark mix, which is not as dark as this looks. I feel like I need some black in my picture to bring my color up a little. I guess I could use my big black base. That's what usually I do. Yeah, there we go. Except then the base is in focus. So let's actually fix our focus. Fix focus, please. There we go. Awesome. Now I can put the base behind it and it won't focus on the base. Oh, teacher hours, yeah. Totally get it. Yeah. So I like to go dark with this. I do still bring in additional shadow, but I like to bring it up with more detailing. I started that on this guy. I just decided I wanted to do all the wings at once. You can see kind of on the right of this wing in progress that we've started to bring in some bands. Oh, cool. Let me make a little note about it. Let me make a note of the title. Tim's Vermeer, huh? Maybe David will like to watch it with me. Although we still got Junior Bake Off, which I'm enjoying more than anybody else. Like, we watched some Junior Bake Off with when his parents were here, because they were thwarted in their efforts to get the New York Times puzzle section, which is what they usually do with David for their Christmas, because there was a printing error, so it didn't get put out the week before Christmas. It actually came out on Christmas Day, and nobody, for the love and money, you could not get a copy on Christmas Day around here. So I don't know, they didn't like it as much, and I'm like, oh, I think it's kind of cool to see what the kids can do. But apparently they're more into seeing the high end, you know, the relatively high end designs of the adult contestants, which I enjoy also, but I think it's pretty impressive what some of those kids put together. Oh, it's been sick for 2 weeks. Sorry, War Shadow. Oh, they were able to fix the heater. Yay! Oh, of course, now that it's getting all warm again, huh? Yeah, for sure. So you could, if you were smart and not me, have mounted this on a wire or something. The other thing that I often do is to just use a base and just lay it on top of the sticky tack and when I'm painting it, so I can get one side. But Sophie stuck on there so nice, I don't think I want to take her off. So the other thing I could do is just put it down and paint around. Obviously, when you're painting wings separately, if you're painting a big thing like a dragon wing, I typically cradle it in bubble wrap in my hand, and then I just paint what I can on one side, let it dry, and paint the other side. So we'll get that going on, and once that dries, we will flip it and do the struts. Oh, good, yeah. Oh no, Quindy. Well, at least you've got, like, fixed everything. Let's hope it stays for a while. I have a sleepy papa. Yeah, she's collapsed. She's like, Mama's going to be boring for a while, so I'm going to be boring too. I'm going to flip this sucker over. Oh, I already did the membranes. How nice. So now we have to be a little bit more careful since we already have our skin tones, but we can always, like, touch it up so it's not a big deal. And really, I just go slow, be patient. I find that small, quick strokes work better for me than one long stroke as far as trying to fill in detail. Like if I want my hand to stay steady. And once we have all this down, then we can start the fun stuff of shading and highlighting. I'm just going to fill in the claw on the top, although I'll be going dark over the top of that. And we finished our Halloween kitty diorama before Christmas, so I will be working in a new model, and then Christmas kitty. We'll probably still finish Christmas kitty. And I don't remember if I did this or not, Quindy, but I need to take New Year's Day off. I thought I did. I thought I put in I thought that was part of my days off like thing, but I may have just thought about Christmas and not thought about New Year's. Reaper typically has New Year's Day off anyway. But I wanted to make sure I said it so that all would know. It ended up, it's so funny, guys. I had 5 days off, but because of the stress of having the relatives here, I feel like I got like nothing. Like I feel like I got half a day because they left yesterday morning, and they were actually talking about not leaving until today morning, and I was like, oh, I was not into that. Oh, is the first on a Sunday? Yeah, I was thinking about Monday. Sorry, my apologies. I was thinking for some reason that the 31st was a Sunday, but you're right. Yeah, I might take that Monday. I just feel like I need more of a break. And typically the front of the year is where I lay some big, like I spend some serious time planning what I'm doing. And this year that's more important than ever because the book's coming out. So I really need to sit down and lay some deadlines for myself and make a list of all the things I need to learn to publish my books. And I need to touch base with my cover artist, and oh my god, yeah. Yeah, so I want to take the second off. David has it off as well. Yeah, I feel like we got like no holiday time together at all. Like just relaxing. I spent most of my time in the kitchen, which is actually what I prefer to do when the in-laws are over. Like I enjoy cooking for people, and it helps keep my stress levels actually relatively low. Year-end staycation until the 3rd, yeah. Yeah, I feel like I need the second, because I was like I cooked a huge production number meal on Christmas Eve, and then I did another one for Christmas. So I did the prime rib with latkes and homemade applesauce. Oh my gosh, guys. If I would have known that making your own applesauce was so freaking easy and tasted so freaking good, I would have done it eons ago. If you have not done this, do this for yourself once. All you need is a slow cooker and some apples. It's like so easy. Like, and if you put it in the slow cooker, you hardly have to look at it. I just took my Instant Pot and used the slow cooker function. And I used 2 Brayburns. I used a variety of apples because it said that the flavor would be better if I did. So I used 2 sweet and one sweet tart, and then I used a Granny Smith, even though it's not like a good. There are sour apples or tart apples that are good for applesauce that break down easier than the Granny Smith, but I couldn't find any in season in my markets, so I ended up going with the Granny Smith. So I used like 2 Brayburn, a Macintosh, and about 3/4 of Granny Smith. And then as you're cutting them up, or I did it as I was cutting them up just to keep them from browning. But you mix up some lemon juice in water And you mix that in to keep them, keep them from browning too much while they're cooking, and then from air, from oxidation. And then I added a little bit of cinnamon. I did not even add any sugar. Like, that's it. Just dump the apples in, mix in the water with lemon juice, and like sprinkle some cinnamon. Yeah, you could do Granny Smiths. They do bake down, but they keep their shape longer. So what I found is that it gave us a nice texture. Like, we had little tiny chunks still in there, which I liked. It was more like an apple compote. But so good, folks. Like, seriously. And then you just cook it for like 4 hours, 5 hours, whatever. I think I just did 4. It took a long time, but it's something you just sit on the counter and then you just forget it. Like, when you wander by, you just give it a stir and you just go back to whatever you were doing. And it makes the house smell so good. And it will make you want apple pie. It totally made me want apple pie. So yeah. So highly, highly recommend. So that was for the latkes, but which are essentially Jewish like potato pancakes. And those turned out really well. I over-fried a couple, but they turned out really well as well. So definitely another thing that I want to make again. They were super tasty. Very simple recipe. And then, then the prime rib. Yep. Yeah. David's dad is Jewish, and David was raised Jewish. His mom is not Jewish, or was not Jewish. I think still isn't. But yeah, so I decided that I would, because latkes sounded really good with prime rib. So I decided I would do them for the family for Christmas, Hanukkah, Miss? I don't know. Christmas, Hanukkah. Alrighty. His family aren't super devout, but yeah, so the latkes really tasty. And then the next day I did Thanksgiving for Christmas. So I did a bone-in turkey breast, I did stuffing, I did cranberry sauce, I did gravy. What else did I do? One other thing. We did a vegetable. David mostly handled the vegetable. We did not do mashed potatoes because I've never seen the point when you have stuffing. Just me. Ah, yeah, prime rib. Yep, slow roaster for 6. Yep. Yeah, I did mine. I've been experimenting with temperatures. I think I'm going to lower mine again next year. I did it at 215. I think I'm going to go down to 200 in the oven. It'll take longer. I didn't want it to go too long this time because I was kind of on a deadline trying to get everything else done in order with it. And so I wanted it to be a little bit more predictable, so I used a temperature I've used in the past. But I do feel like the results would have been a little bit more persnickety had I gone lower. The other thing is that David's mom and dad actually don't like it too rare, so this way we had a little bit of cooked on the ends, and they were happy, especially his mom. Yeah, exactly, Pendrake. Oh, nice. Steaks, nice. Yum. Yeah, that sounds awesome, Tostadoma. I do love a good custard. I use coconut cream for it. Usually I do coconut custard. Hey, Roger. So, I want to get my brown liner out now because I was kind of experimenting to see if my shield brown color was going to work here. A little extra trouble to make the custard, but I haven't made custard for David. I make it very, very seldom. But Thanksgiving is one of the times I have made it. But we had so many cookies. Like for Thanksgiving, we had so much pie. And then for Christmas, David's mom brought 3 different, she baked Florentines here, and then she brought 2 types of cookies as well. And then we had my mom's Christmas toffee, which we'd saved half of, and the cookies that I made. So we had a lot of sweet things, and I certainly would not have done custard on top of that. My back's a little twitchy today, guys, so I might need to stand up and stretch at some point. I'm kind of feeling it. So I'm going to actually do that right now. Do a little stretch. It's a little tingly. It's because of all the cooking. It really kind of I was on my feet a lot, and I feel like my back was like grumbly at me since I started that. So stand up and stretch, everybody, if you haven't. It's nice to stretch every once in a while. We're about halfway through the stream anyway, so it's a good time. Stretch break. Yeah, stretch break. Stretch and massage Anne's back. Yeah, the Granny Smiths did well in there. They kept a little bit of body. They were interesting too because, let's do a quick stretch back this way. But it was like the inside of the Granny Smith chunks got really soft, and the outsides where that had been, cooking were still a little bit firm. So when you bit one, it kind of exploded in your mouth. It was kind of cool. If you're hearing popping, then you definitely had to stretch. So I do not regret putting you through the popcorn. Oh, you could recreate it pretty easily, I would think, Twisted Oma, just using find a custard recipe and find a apple crisp recipe and just rock it out. That kind of stuff tends to be like very simple. Assuming you can still eat custard and apples. Not sure what your diet is. I know you have some restrictions. New things about your air fryer. I think the most useful thing to remember about the air fryer, Pendrake, is that if you have a thicker thing, for example, like we do Brussels sprouts. So if you have a thicker thing that needs to cook through, do it a little lower, like 350 for a little longer, and then pump it up to 400 and hit it for like a minute at the end. So like vary your temperatures. I could see the pizza needing to cook through and then you want to brown it at the end, so maybe it would work that way. But yeah, I find it very advantageous with the air fryer to actually start around 350 for a lot of stuff, and then if I need it to brown at the end, to do like just 1 minute at the end or 2 minutes at most. 2 minutes for Brussels sprouts because they tend to they have a lot of moisture once you cook them. They are a mini convection oven. It's smaller, so it's much more concentrated Agent Marble. So essentially it cooks a lot faster than even a convection oven. Like, for example, when I did Brussels sprouts, they used to take 40 to 45 minutes on my normal oven. They took about 30, I want to say, in the convection oven. They'll take 16 in my my air fryer. Yeah, silicone stuff works good too, Pendrake. Yeah, it's actually like a mini convection oven. It's not really a toaster oven. It's just a very intense convection because it's so small. Because it's so small, it essentially heats up super fast, and it can cook things much faster. It does really good. We do Brussels sprouts in it a lot. It does amazing salmon. Like salmon, like restaurant quality with the crispy like outer crust. If you rub it with a little olive oil first and you pop it in, it's like amazing. I'm continuing to find awesome things to do with my air fryer. All right, let me see here. Da Vinci. Let's go with our thinner brush to do some of the shading and lining around our winglets. This side is pretty much done here. So I want to revisit my lining on the back here and make sure that it's nice and solid. Yeah, toaster oven's a different thing. Like, you can't really use the air fryer as a basic toaster oven. There are combinations. Like, I think Brayville and a couple of other companies make combination toaster ovens / air fryers. But I find that they're not rated quite as well because you usually want a wider space for a toaster oven, and you actually want like a round or square or more compact space to have effective air frying. Yeah, and you can reheat pastries in an air fryer super fast, and they get nice and flaky again and crispy on the outsides. Yeah, I wouldn't mind a toaster oven just because there are some things I could do while I was doing other stuff in the big oven. Or doing other stuff in the air fryer. But yeah, just like you, we don't have a lot of counter space, so I decided to pass on it. And I really love our air fryer is actually the only appliance that lives permanently on our counter because we use it so much. All right, I'm going to mix up this liner. Kiki got a walk in the pouring rain this morning, but it seems to have slacked off, so I may get off easy when I take her for the walk. And having said that, I've guaranteed that it will rain now. But yeah, out of the two, depending, like if your oven is really a pain to use and you just maybe you're cooking for just a couple of people and so you just want small amounts, you could just get away with probably just the toaster oven then. If you use your main oven a lot, then I feel like the air fryers maybe gives you a little bit more option because you can then convection in the air fryer and regular bake at the same time in the oven. But yeah, oh, there's the rain. Ha ha ha! I didn't even have time to grab my phone. It started raining again. I've cursed Kiki and I. We're going to have a very wet walk. So I'm just bringing my lining in here a little bit more, just a little bit darker. See that line around that wing there? I want it to stand out a little bit more. At 10. Yeah, it rained all night last night here in Mid-Cal. They call it NorCal, but we're not really. In the South Bay. How about that? So I'm using a very long, thin brush for this because it's going to make a long, thin line a lot easier. Think about your brush shape when you're executing on stuff. Use a bigger brush for base coating and washes, and use a more narrow brush for details and long lines. Yeah, Bay Area. So hopefully it will slack off just a little bit when I go to take the Keekers for her walk. Or she will not get as long a walk. David definitely did a short walk this morning, and by the time he got back, it was pouring. It was awful. So I did not begrudge him shortening the Kiki walk. Plus, now that she's getting a little older, it's not as instrumental to get her the walk to calm her down for the rest of the day. This weekend yesterday actually, for her post-Christmas present, we took her to the school down the street has a park attached to it. And of course school is out so everybody can use it. And we put her on a 20-foot lead and we practiced. We really let her run around. We did like recall practice and we threw ball for her. It was super fun. And then she got to climb on playground equipment because I like doing that with my dogs because it exposes them to different shapes and things. So she went through a tunnel and she climbed a thing. And we swung swings. So she got some good stuff, just exposure to different things yesterday. I need to schedule her next puppy training. Alrighty, so just a little bit of extra lighting, a little bit of extra shading. And then we're going to do our lining on this wing. We'll get these two around the same point, at least on the outside. So I'm almost done. I always do the wings first for those just tuning in and wondering why I'm working on the wings instead of working on the figure. Wings are like the most boring part for me. And so I try to do them first to get it out of the way. Because if I wait till the end and I have the wings left to do, I just feel like not finishing the figure. I find it really hard to finish the figure. And so I speak from experience after many years of painting ReaperCon Sophie, or Sophie's for Reaper. Since she's Reaper's mascot, I've painted a great many of her. And I learned that if I wanted to finish happily, that I would do the wings first and save the interesting parts for later when I start to get tired of the model. So for everybody, when you are painting, if you find it hard to finish things, consider saving the part that you enjoy painting the most to the end. So if you really love painting the face, maybe paint the rest of the figure first, and then by the time you're getting sick of the figure, you still have that awesome face to work on. So that can help motivate you through. Pay attention though to like what you really enjoy about the figure and what you don't. Like, and if you do notice that there's a particular place that you tend to bog down and not finish, then try to figure out a way to life hack your way out of that. And sometimes it is just as easy as working on the boring thing first, or the thing that you don't enjoy as much. Like with the with my Anubis model, who's in the other room, that I've been painting on my own stream. He had a huge feathery cape, which essentially equates to wings. So I knew that I had to do that first. And I haven't worked on his face yet. So I knew I was going to enjoy doing that. So I saved it. I just base coated it. And now I'm to the point where I can work on his face. But it just helps me, because if I was still staring at that feather cloak at this point, he might never get done. But because I picked the boring thing to do first, I feel like he's almost done. I need to throw some shading on his metallics so that I can finish those up. So I'm touching up a little bit. My lining got a little bit bold, so I'm just taking the skin tone mix and kind of painting it down and pushing it against that lining to trim it up. It's an easy thing to do. Just paint at it from the other side and thin it down. So David's mom is proofreading my manuscript, and she said she'd have it to me by New Year's. At which point, I do one more read through the whole dang thing and edit it as I put it into the layout program, which seems pretty simple to use. And then I have to figure out my front and back matter, my copyright page and my table of contents and how to generate those and stuff, and my author's note and my link to sign up for my mailing list and stuff like that. And that'll be exciting. Then I'm just waiting on the cover, and pretty much then the minute I get the cover, I should be ready to publish, guys. Pretty exciting. Yeah, some of that Corningware is valuable. Yeah, the casseroles people love. Just do an eBay search. It's easy to convince her, Twisted Oma. Just search on eBay. You should be able to show that it's valuable. So I'm going to finish lining, and then I'm going to touch up. And if you don't mind doing the touch up, then you don't have to be as careful with your lining. Oh, see, yeah, I got messy there. I'm going to have to thin that down. A artist from the UK. Her name is Raven with 2 A's, I think. Probably look her up. I really liked her art style, although she'll be going a little bit of a different style than her usual for my covers because of my genre. But she was willing to give a go at it, so. And she really likes fairy tale stuff, so that was really my main criteria. Is I wanted an artist whose work I liked, who had a lot of experience designing book covers, because that's important, and who enjoyed fairy tale fiction, so fairy tale fantasy. So she would get my books. Yeah, super excited. I need to actually touch base with her because I want to make sure to get her updated blurbs. I have to go over my blurbs today and make sure that I've got them in a final good format. It's my writing work to do today. I also have a lot. I have to get my Patreon paint-alongs done, so be working on a lot of stuff today. Agent Marvel, essentially, when you start reading about self-publishing, there are some really good people out there who are writing about it online, and I think I got mine. Joanna Penn, who is a big proponent of independent publishing. She's a thriller writer, thriller and nonfiction. But she has a bunch of resources on her website, including a bunch of cover artists. And then the Alliance of Independent Authors, which I joined, also has a big resources page with people that, are experienced, that they've vetted. Nope, there will be physical for them. I am old-fashioned that way. There absolutely will be physical, and I might even put it in hardcover because I might want a hardcover. I don't know if anybody else will buy one, but I think I might want a commemorative hardcover of my first book. For sure. So I'm just going through now, guys, with this thin skin tone, and it's probably about 4:1. It's pretty, it has good coverage. You want it thin enough that you can do these little touch-ups, but you also need it thick enough so that it'll cover over that brown liner with not too much fuss. But yeah, definitely physical. I mean, I want people to be able to ask me for a signed book if they want one. I've been talking about it with you guys for so long that if anybody actually buys one and wants to bring it to ReaperCon or, wherever I am, then... Yeah, it's work to format it. It's extra work to format it for physical book rather than just digital, but I am willing to do that work because I like physical books. But yeah, it will only be on Amazon at first. I'm going to need to pay extra, I think, to get a cover format for Ingram. Because unfortunately, they are different cover formats for the two main publishers, Amazon and Ingram's. So at first it will just be Amazon. But once I kind of have a handle on everything, then I'll look at taking the physical book wider. You don't like Justin being the bot. Yeah, I like hardcovers just of authors I really like. So I have a few, and part of me also, I need to look into whether I can order author copies from Amazon. Because my urge is really to buy 100 copies, author copies, and essentially those will essentially be the first edition, to buy it right when I hit publish. I have to buy one when I hit publish anyway because I need to check it in person. Because you always want to double check that your hard copy actually came out okay, and you want to fix it right away if it didn't. That's the nice thing about being an independent person. It's the bad thing is you have to worry about all that. The nice thing is that if anything isn't cool or you don't like something, you can fix it right away. So yeah, just touching up these little brown liner bits so I get nice, trim, neat lined wings. Bumper chromatic. Yeah, it's the side plot. Yeah, it is. Well, you won't have much longer to wait because I'm going to be publishing it. Hopefully in January, maybe in February. We'll see how it goes. It depends on the cover. If the cover needs changes, you know how it goes. Stuff and things. There's much to do. And when you're independent publishing, it's kind of like having a second Patreon. So we've got it nice and trim now. It looks nice and neat. I need to do a little bit of shadows underneath each of these little knuckles on here, and then I need to highlight all of this so you can see the difference here between the two. The puppy side plot, yes. Now the puppy is finally getting to the point where she won't be quite as much of a side plot. But she did, if you tune into the beginning of this stream or if you catch the VOD, you can see her nomming on me. She knows that she wants that she comes up here now at the start of stream. I mostly read on Kindle these days, Twisted Oma. I only buy books of either nonfiction, where I want the physical book for reference in order to put like sticky notes and markers and stuff in it. So I still buy nonfiction and physical, but for fiction, I'm entirely, unless it's a book from one of my favorite authors, like Neil Gaiman puts out something new, then I usually get it in hardcover. But other than that, I read it all on Kindle because I love being able to change the font size for when my eyes get tired. But yeah, doing this book publishing gig is going to be a lot like having a second Patreon. It's going to be a lot of work. And it's exciting, and I can't wait for it, but I'm going to probably have to drop a lot of my dog stuff that I do. Because otherwise it's just going to it's already actually driving me crazy, so. Yeah, just figuring out priorities has been hard. Because, unlike, our to-do list would have us believe we could finish everything in a day, but in reality, we cannot finish as nearly as much as we think in a day. So I've somewhat come to terms with that lately, and I am figuring out what I can hand off. And I may need to kind of juggle everything for like this year and then essentially find people to take over stuff. So I'm making little shadows under each of these knuckles. You can see one right there. And then when I come in with the highlight on the knuckle like I did there, then it all stands out very nicely. So I'm going to continue my shading and highlighting here on the struts. Yeah, I'll go exclusive with Amazon. Actually, I'm going to be, if you have Kindle Unlimited, where you can read, up to 10 books at a time for free, like you have a rotating library, you will be able to read my book for free because I'm going to put it in Kindle Unlimited at first, so I'll let you guys know. I mean, for free, I still get paid. I just don't get paid, I get paid by the page read instead of by the book purchase. But yeah, I'm very interested to see how it goes. The other day I looked up some keywords because you give Amazon words to tell it kind of who to show your book to, right? And so that if people search for those words, then it knows to show them your book. And finding good keywords can be hard because there's a lot of books on Amazon, right? So you want to find a keyword that people are searching for, but that doesn't have a lot of books actually in it. Yeah, the to list. Yeah, I'm with you, Architufus. I tend to defer things to the next day. That's when I know I'm kind of overloading my plate, Arc. Like I've been working a lot, pretty hard lately on lowering my stress level, and one of the things I do for that is to try to determine when I'm assigning myself too much to do in a day. Because I love it when I finish my day and I have a nice relaxing evening ahead of me, and I was definitely overloading myself. So if your to-do list is always like having a ton of stuff on it, think about paring it back a bit if you can. I know some of us with work schedules, it's hard. But I found that if I spaced out things a little bit more and if I dropped a couple of things out of my life, that I could do it. Hey, I got back to my knitting. Speaking of other hobbies, I got back to my knitting for the first time last night. There was an Overwatch match, and that's usually when I sit in the TV room and knit, but I haven't been able to since the little puppa came. But she isn't allowed in the TV room right now anyway because she hasn't learned how to be a good girl in there. So I got to sit and actually work on my knitting, which was kind of cool. I learned to purl. And my knitting hobby is going glacially slow, which is the case when you don't have a lot of time, right? So if you are starting the miniature painting hobby, and you don't have a lot of time for it, don't kick yourself or anything. Just take your time. When you have time for it, go to it. and try to touch base with it fairly frequently so you don't like totally forget stuff. But I mean, if you only have time, if you have to give up, put your hobby aside for a few months because real life strikes, in my case, a puppy attacked, you know, you can always go back to it. It's like, my knitting wasn't going anywhere. It just meant I wasn't making any progress on learning new stitches and stuff. But I made a swatch of stockinette stitch last night with stitching one row and purling the next, and it looks nice. So I'm still making progress. I'm just going slow, and that is absolutely fair with a hobby. Yeah, it's your boss. Yeah, Arc. That work thing, that external work thing really stinks. I do say that is one thing I really like about being a freelancer. Like, I don't have like my to-do list I make myself, and obviously there are things I must get done every month for the Patreon and stuff, and I must be on here at Reaper, you know, pretty much every weekday. But other than that, I have a lot of freedom to kind of tweak my list. Oh, upgraded to 20 books. Nice. Thanks, Shitakami. I wasn't aware. I actually have it, but I haven't had a lot of reading time. And I seldom go over 10 books because usually when I check out a book, I actually do want to read it right away. So, what's up, Papa? What's up? You okay? What's up? Just watching my Papa. She should be okay. I let her out before the stream started. She's moving around. She had her nap, so now she's looking for trouble. Yeah, I don't because I have so little time for free time. Oh, are you in here? Okay, she's going to be in here. My Papa is visiting us. If I make time for reading in the evening, then I can easily go through 10 to 12 books a month. But lately I've been playing video games with David, so I'm doing a little bit of just a kind of a tick texture here on the wings. Just you can see the kind of like little bit of dash texture, just to give it a little bit more interest instead of just doing straight lines, just to suggest there's a little bit of texture on that. Nice. Yeah, it is a lot. I used to be a voracious reader. When I was a kid and had the free time, we're going to continue this texture over here. When I was a kid and had the free time, I would go through like 4 or 5 books in a weekend. Reading was my main hobby. My mom still is pretty voracious. She reads mysteries, and she'll do library. She'll check out 7 or 8 books and read them during the course of a week. So just a little bit of additional texture on the side here. So let's flip these guys over. Hey, Red Links, how's it going? Yeah, I've been stalled out. I've got a bunch of books that I started reading, and I'm kind of just stalled out for right now because there's so much I need to do. End of the month is always a lot busier for me. Oh, she has a pig ear, I think. I think Papa brought us her pig ear. I hear the crunching. I'm going to use a little bit of my brown liner up here where these fold over each other to put a big harsh shadow up there. Then I'm going to grab a little bit of my dark brown and wet blend that in. And then I'm going to get my shield brown and blend that in. Yeah, end of the year, not so much for me. I mean, I gotta get my taxes together, but I track that throughout the year pretty well, so my taxes aren't a big deal. Mostly it's just tracking income because I never spend enough. Like my business doesn't have a big enough overhead for me to ever do a Schedule C because my personal exemption is always going to be more than I spend. So Mostly it's just the usual, like, I need to get all my paint-alongs done by the end of the month. And my Fitbit just buzzed at me. Why did you budge? Oh, yeah, because I'm just sitting here and it wants me to take steps. Sorry, Fitbit. This one is much buzzier than my last one, the new one. Taxes, yep. Oh, nice, Quindy. Yeah, that your hobby should never be stressful. That's kind of why I stopped. I used to do, my writing group has a book club, a monthly book club. But I actually had to stop doing it after a few months just because it was stressful to have to finish that book on time when I was really busy with other stuff. Ah. No, shade the underside. This thick part here, obviously, you know, is part of the molding process, right? And over here we did it dark as well with the edge lighter, and this is what we're going to do over here as well. So we're going to, with the exception of this one, but over here, under here, we're going to do it dark with a lighter edge. And it's just because, you know, it's really thick there because it needs to be to cast, but you want it to still appear like it's a normal part of the wing. Yeah, give the Reaper peeps a little time with the holidays and stuff, for sure. With the quarterly contest and all that. I'm just going to do a little bit of blending in here. And we'll be pretty good there. Now I need to get my shading on the back of the wing. So we made a lot of progress on wings this time. Oh, Kiki, please don't dig at the carpet. Please don't dig at the carpet, Paw. You want to come over here and get a scruff? Kiki! Hi! Yeah, I'm working, but you can come over and get pettings, big head. You have an immense head. How did your head get so big? How did your head get so big? How did it get so big, Keekster? Huh? How did it get so big? Yeah, good settle. Alrighty, oh, gotta get some, my brush got a little bit too dried out when I was petting Kiki. We're almost done, Keekster, and then we can take our walk, hopefully. Actually, I should check. Need to check the weather here. Will it rain on us? Let's see. Oh, hey, light rain is expected to stop in 24 minutes. That's great. And then it's supposed to rain a little bit later, so I should definitely, like, after the end of the stream. Yeah, we all do that, though. Like, we're all guilty of forgetting how hectic things get during the holidays. We always are like, oh, it's just the holidays. I should be able to do stuff, you know, 2 days before then. And then you forget that your brain is totally absorbed by all the things you need to get done before the holiday. Like, I found that I started losing brain cells at least 5 days before David's in-laws were scheduled to get here. Or David's parents, rather. Because there was so much shopping and packing and wrapping and things. Yeah, Kiki, we're back to a very quiet day. Much more quiet than when David's parents were here. Just a little bit of the bone stretch showing through here, so I'm mostly shading. Hey, Keeker, settle down. Keekster. The Keekaroonie. Keekarino. That's what her gamer tag is, David says. Yeah, is that your gamer tag? Silly puppy. She's being good, though. I say, until she starts chewing something, like my carpet. So, getting those, just blocking that in, getting those dark shadows in there. You can do a quick wet blend, or you can do a wash if you want to. Yeah, I'm sure that it is hectic as they have to figure out. Oh, did you, Calablum? I'm going to do a shadow here between the strut and the membrane, down on the bottom. Oh, yeah, I got to stay away from cornstarch, so that one's a no. My blood sugar would not forgive me. So, yes. The other one I can do, the nut butter and sugar and egg one. I'm looking forward to trying that one. I actually have some cookies to bake. I made dough right before the holiday, extra dough for my Russian tea cakes because I hadn't made too many. I sent part of them to my family for Christmas. I ended up not having time to bake the extra during the holiday season, which means I get cookies. Yeah, I'll probably use almond butter because I'm much more a fan of almond butter than peanut butter, but yeah. The fact that you can use any nut butter with it will be good. Yeah, cornstarch, corn syrup, just all that stuff is just not good for me. I try to. It tends to have a lot of carbs, and with the sugar I can substitute, right? The sugar I can substitute because I can use erythritol or something, or I can at least sub part of it. But when it comes down to those starches, it's hard to sub for a lower carb alternative. Starch is starch. Yeah, but that's okay because the other one is actually really, really doable for me. So thanks for sharing it. Water's running down the street in front of our house too, but it's because it rained. The question is, do you still have water, Twisted Oma? Because a water main can break and you're still okay. And if you still have water, then not so bad for you. Not so good for your neighbors. Oh, cool. Cool. Glad to hear that worked for you, Bob and Julie. Yeah, I have a jar of almond butter I haven't even broke into yet, so that would be perfect for that recipe. Ooh, ow, Crowley, that would be not fun. Yeah, I just do almond butter. I was less a fan of peanuts these days. I really like, there's a salted almond butter chocolate that's like filled. It's like a really yummy peanut butter cup in a chocolate bar. I love that one. So I thinned down some of my my shield brown just to get a little bit more of a subtle striping on this. When I want to kind of layer it up and make it not like be zebra stripes, starting with a more transparent paint is good. I do not, it depends, Kelblum. I can do chocolate chips, though they don't have like corn syrup or cornstarch in them. I can do chocolate, but I try to minimize the amount of them. I only make chocolate chip cookies like once a year. I do pieces of chocolate. I keep, lower carb that way. I try to keep under 50 grams of carbs a day. So that allows me to have a chocolate chip cookie. The problem is I won't eat just one. But yeah. The problem with starches is that in general, like cornstarch and other starches, is they tend to be they're very fine and they tend to be very high carb. But if I do dark chocolate chips, they're not quite as high sugar. Papa, what you doing? I need to make sure she's not eating something she oughtn't. 1 second, folks. That was a weird noise. What are you doing? Oh, you have cardboard? Okay. Okay, you can have the cardboard. I gave her a box to rip up this morning because she loves it. Yeah, so I eat a small amount of chocolate every day, but I like really good chocolate, and I tend to like dark chocolate, and dark chocolate is not as high carb. But yeah, I've got my diet's pretty dialed in, and I know that I love chocolate chip cookies, so I try to be very selective about when I make them, and I make a small batch because I know that we're just going to devour them. So bringing some of my dark back in here to create that texture. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'll skip that one. It sounds like the original one you gave me is the one that I can make low carb, so I'm totally going to go for that. Though, putting a couple of chocolate chips in there might work fine. Because I can also just limit the amount of chocolate chips I add, and that's doable. But yeah, I've got a funky, I guess I've got a funky diet. That's why I got into cooking and baking, so that I could still make stuff that I loved, but I can make stuff that I loved the way that I could eat it. I'm going to do a darker shadow here on this end because it's folded away, folded to the side, kind of under, folds under, so I'm going to create a shadow right there. Yeah, I'm low carb, gluten free, no tomatoes. Which isn't as crazy. Oh, and no alcohol. Which I don't really care about anymore. Everybody else drank wine, but I was okay. There we go. So we're starting to get in. So we're going the opposite way this way. On this side, we brought in the light color to create the texture. And on this side, we're bringing in the dark color to create the texture. And then I will highlight that too. But yeah, right now I'm just trying to get all of our evil food out of the house because I want to get back to my regular diet so that I feel good again. Because that's the one thing about the holidays is like lots of tasty food. Kiki, no ma'am. She likes to dig at the carpet. I don't know why. Maybe she thinks she can tunnel into it. But yeah, I definitely, I eat a lot of tasty food, but I ate more carbs than was good for me, and I definitely don't feel as good, so. Time to get back to the ye old regular diet. Did you just fall over? You're a silly dog, you know that? We're almost done, Keeks. Almost done. Then we'll hustle outside before it starts pouring again. Ooh, veggie curry latkes. Ooh, Arrowiz, are you on my Patreon and can you post that in off topic if you have a recipe? Or let me just make a note. I can Google. I'm capable of Googling. Veggie curry. I know there are lots of variants on latkes. I really like my foundation recipe, but veggie curry, doing a curry latke does sound amazing. I will look up recipes. Red links, that's funny. Maybe that's what she's doing. Yay, there's all my stuff. Yeah, I think we're pretty good, guys. I think we're pretty good. I think we got pretty much what I wanted to get done. I'm going to just do an additional touch-up coating right here on this wing because it looks a little bit like it didn't get a full coverage or it rubbed off a little. And this one looks pretty good, pretty good. So yeah, so next time we could probably like finish both wings out completely, which is fantastic. And we can go back to our Sophie and get to it. Get to some of this armor and fun stuff. She's got a chainmail coif there. And a little, I need to think about colors. We need to think about colors, guys. All right. Yes. Yeah. She is a digging kind of dog, and we have to kind of supervise her in the yard so she's not too diggy. Our yard is so little that there isn't much of it to be dug, so I'm trying to kind of discourage her from that and encourage her to chase balls instead and stuff like that. David's gotten her to catch a frisbee a few times now. What's up, Papa? No, ma'am. Oh, somebody's being bad right now. It is totally time to end the stream. That is no. All right. Thank you, everybody. Tomorrow, we will be on the Genie, I believe. Genie time. Bum, bum, bum. We're working on his blue, highlighting and getting some of the shading and stuff done down here. So we'll probably work on the blue up on his actual costume before I go down and work even more on the blue back here. That is what we're going to be doing tomorrow. I hope you all have a lovely day. I'm going to go rescue my front rug from my puppy. No, we didn't. I will probably go back to it, Crowley. I'm not sure when. It's in the rotation. We'll try to at least, if I can get it in before New Year's. I think it might be it might be Friday. And then we'll try to finish it. All right? Thanks, everybody. I love you all. Have a lovely day. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.